Hey guys, Trey here from Innovative Sportsman. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install your Hobie Pro Angler adapter plate. So the Hobie Pro Angler adapter plate fits the Hobie Pro Angler 14, the 12, the Pro Angler 12, and it also fits the Pro Angler 17T, the tandem Pro Angler. So it'll mount the same way on each one, and we're going to go through the steps to show you how to put this thing on. As you can see, with most of our adapter plates, we like to send them pre-installed or pre-put together, I should say. Because then you know where all the hardware goes, and you have a hardware bag here just for the screws that go up here, and they'll actually attach up here on the Hobie. So we try to pre-install everything, that way you know where it goes, so when you take it out you only have to put it right back where it belongs. This plate comes with clamps for the H-rail on the back, screws. It's two different styles of screws. If you have pre-2019 Hobie Pro Angler, it has the metric threaded screws that fit into the brass inserts in the back of the Hobie. If you have a newer Hobie, then there's a set of plastic screws in here that will actually replace the plastic screws that are into the back of the rudder cover here in the back of the Pro Angler. It also comes with the hardware to install the torpedo motor. But this mount will work with the power pole or the torpedo motor or any other accessory that you have that uses that 4-bolt pattern that is utilized so often in kayaks. So without further ado, I'll start taking this thing apart and explain to you how it all works. So first thing, we're going to go ahead and take these bolts out of the clamps. We'll get the hardware bag off. And I just want to mention that the only tools that you'll need for this install is a 7/16 wrench, socket, either or, and a Phillips screwdriver. So these clamps are threaded. There's no holding nuts and washers on the bottom. You just take this hardware out. And then you pull the bottom part of the clamp off. You're going to want to hold the top part so it doesn't fall off, because it sits on top of the H-rail. And as you loosen those up, you'll be able to get your hardware bag loose. Pull the bottom of that one off. Set those clamps, the bottom parts of the clamps, out of the way for now, and you can actually set that on the H-rail. So go ahead and take these Phillips screws out of the back of the rudder cover plate back here. The rudder pulley is under there on the Pro Angler, for those of you that don't already know that. So you just take those two screws out. You slide the plate over. I wouldn't throw these screws away if you ever take this plate off. You know, these screws are something that you'd want to put back in. This is a newer Pro Angler, so it does not have the brass inserts in these back holes, so you'll be using a plastic screw, and they'll work just fine. So the torque and all of the force that the motor will put on this mount, it actually gets put on the clamps themselves. The clamps are the anchoring part of this whole setup, and these bolts here are just a little extra leverage and extra support up front. So once you get those started, I would go ahead and tighten them in a little bit. Make sure the plate still moves around. We don't want to tighten anything up until everything is started and square. So you can start these by hand. And with these clamps, you're going to want to tighten these up evenly. You don't want to crank down all the way on one side and then try and crank the other side down to match, because they won't tighten up evenly then. Alright, so I've got those started. We're going to center this on the H-rail on the back. And we'll go ahead and tighten these down a little. All right, once you get that tightened down, you go up here to these front screws and you just snug those down. And there again, you don't need to go crazy on these. They do draw down really well, but they are going into plastic. And then that thing's solid, it's not going anywhere. You can actually pick the kayak up from this plate. It's not going to hurt, it's not going to pull those out. Actually, once you get, like if you're mounting a Torqeedo, once you get your Torqeedo mounted, you can pick this kayak up from the Torqeedo mount itself. Like I said, that'll put all that pressure on these clamps, and these clamps are not going to break. They're built to withstand, you know, the forces of picking a kayak up or the torque of the motor. They're built to withstand all of that. So, you know, real solid plate. Like I said, these 4 screws here are for mounting a Torqeedo. You can also mount a power pole or any other accessory that uses that 4-bolt pattern on the back of the kayak. So real simple install. We sell a lot of these plates. They're pretty popular. You know, they're one of our biggest sellers. The Hobie is an awesome kayak. It's an awesome platform. So we try to keep them in stock. It tends to be a little bit of a challenge sometimes, but we do the best that we can, and you know, hope this video helps. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.